Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Oh, one moment. And enjoy the video. Hello everyone, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming at you another Let's Play episode of Far Beyond the World. So, the last place we left off, we had just taken a bit of a dip outside in the rain with Ranok. You know, we had a little playful banter, laid down on the grass, and gazed longingly at each other. God, we all know how this is gonna go. Come on, guys. We know that these two are getting together at some point. God, at least I hope they are. But anyway, everyone, just sit back and let me entertain you for the next 20 minutes. Alarm Shan, you are up, and let's just jump right into it. You never cooked? I wouldn't say never. I can't remember, but definitely I wouldn't know how to make this into a rabbit stew. I point to the ingredients. Well, we'll make a cook out of you yet. Your egg and toast method was quite inventive. He winks and I smile. Ranok grabs 2 tankards and fills them up with ale. I want to stop him from getting me one. However, his happy expression makes me reconsider. He seemed to be looking forward to us unwinding, and despite the ale tasting like liquid nightmare, I decided to humor him. You said you don't eat at home, that you feast together? How, or better yet, why did you even learn any of this? Well, we spend a lot of time in the woods on patrols, quite often sent away for a few days, if not weeks. He reveals, wetting his lips in the ale, and my stomach turns a little at the idea of him leaving me alone for that long. His eyes center on me, and it's clear he picked up on my distress. Don't worry, you won't be rid of me that easy. The wolf winks, and I feign annoyance in hope of masking my ever-present blush. I'm responsible for you. I can't be sent off while I have an active charge. I cannot hide the relief that descends upon me when hearing this, and I simply take a happy sip of my own drink. But yeah, when away, we have to cook our own meals. He points to the pot. This is pretty much basic stuff for pups. My expression turns, and although I retain the blush, it's now more out of embarrassment than as teasing. I don't remember what I used to do before, but I know I wasn't the most independent of people. As I look at the bubbling cauldron, it's becoming ever clearer that I wouldn't be able to do any of this. Forget the stew. I can't even start the damn fire. Seriously, don't worry, he mutters. My father promised me he'll keep me within the village. It's all part of the deal, after all. I nod. Speaking of your father, what did he want? It was the other way around. Oh? I'll tell you once I know something comes out of it. It's a surprise. He grins at me slyly, and I wonder what he's up to. We sit like this for maybe an hour or so, just idly chatting. Ranok explains to me how his pack was tracking a bear this morning, not to kill it, but to actually see it. It took a lot of effort, but eventually they managed to spot the beast, which was quite a sight. Apparently feral bears are almost as rare as feral wolves, and he wanted to make sure the beast was safe and well. The tribe believes that the creature is a messenger from one of the great spirits, an omen of sorts. Are the great spirits your ancestors? No, not directly at least. He chuckles at my naive question. They are the spirits of the wild, feralkin ancestors. Oh, so you mean like spirit animals? Yeah, I guess you could say that. The wolf nods, clearly amused by my lack of knowledge. Memory loss, remember? I poke at my temple and he laughs it off. Fine. There are 4 great spirits that our tribe worships. There are others, of course, but we only consider those 4 as the true guardians of Turnen. He takes an idle sip and I do the same. The great bear represents tenacity. Warriors who face overwhelming odds look to him for guidance. The great stag is the spirit of cunning. Those who have to rely on outwitting their enemies turn to him for help. The great wolf represents loyalty. I tilt my head in slight confusion. Loyalty, not strength or something along those lines? The strength of a wolf lies in his pack. We are familiar creatures. To us, the bond between our kin is of utmost importance. You say that, but both you and Vol made it clear that siblings don't mean much. Yes, direct blood relations are of little importance. Our true family is the tribe entire. Ranok explains with quite a serious tone. Whenever facing turbulent times that seek to tear us apart, we turn to the great wolf for aid in strengthening our bonds. Huh. Never thought of it like that. And finally, there's the great tiger. he says with barely hidden distaste in his voice. He is the spirit of strength. Those who require it beseech him for his blessing. I take it you're not a fan. Call it personal bias. Tigers and I, we don't mix well. So I've noticed. I flash my brows in jest and the wolf laughs. I really don't want to get into otherkin politics at the dinner table. I'm sure I had a fair share of uncles ruining meals in the past. I don't need Ranok to join the ranks. But it is incredibly touching to learn that those wolfmen treat animals with reverence. I know that's not exactly the case for humans, and it almost fills me with shame. I take a reluctant gulp of ale, looking to the bubbling cauldron. I guess the broth is ready. Let's add the rest in. He slowly throws the prepared vegetables, along with emptying the entire purse of lentils into the pot. I look at the bushel of spinach, not entirely sure what to do with it. In it goes. Ooh, this is going to be delicious. Ooh, look at that stew. Mmm. He nods towards the pot, and just like that, I simply put it in. I watch curiously as he stirs the contents, letting them bubble and mix. Check the cupboard. There should be a small white phial in the bottom shelf. I retrieve it for him, opening the lid and taking a sniff. It has an unmistakable dairy smell. It's cream. Cream. Cream of vegetables? He pours it in. I just marvel as the brownish stew becomes lighter, almost matching Ranok's coat. Even the green leaves of spinach floating in remind me of his cloak and eyes. I chuckle, as it's almost Ranok in edible form. Ha! What's so funny? You're a dish. I wink at him, which clearly catches him off guard. Whether he didn't get the play on words or simply got flustered by my forwardness for a change, I'm quite satisfied with the quip. Eventually, he just rolls his eyes in amusement and reaches up for a dried bushel hanging on the wall. I don't know how, but I immediately recognize it as thyme, and a smile stretches across my face as he drizzles the stew with the herb. I grab 2 bowls from the shelf. I grab 2 bowls from the shelf above the hearth and set them up, accompanied by wooden spoons. We sit down again, waiting for the food to get ready. Another hour goes by, as we just chat some more about his morning exploits, while the aroma of the stew slowly fills the house. He's very athletically inclined with a clear competitive. He's very guys. I'm sorry. Forgive me for my weird mouth movements. He's very athletically inclined with a clear competitive edge. Apparently, he sparred with some of his pack members earlier today, sending them to the dirt 4 times before they gave up. He is very proud of his skills in combat, and it almost feels as if he's boasting to impress me. It's actually kind of cute. Eventually, Ranok brings the cauldron to the table and fills my plate. Nope, not time yet. Okay. Eventually, Ranok brings the cauldron to the table and fills my plate. The smell is something absolutely out of this world. I wait patiently for the wolf to set his own portion, and once that's done, I dig in. I pick up a spoon and blow out it cautiously, trying to cool the stew a bit. When I have a taste, I'm at a loss. The stew is absolutely amazing. It's a medley of flavors I never tasted before, and I could not have imagined them going so well together. Ever since I lost my memory, I experienced everything with a doubled intensity, as if discovering it anew. And there's plenty to rediscover. This wolf is one mean cook. Ranok's tail begins to pat against the chair, as he notices my satisfied expression between each spoonful. Do you like it? It's amazing! I gasp almost orgasmically, blushing at my own exaggerated reaction. Wow. He turns his gaze away, also getting flustered by the sounds of my pleasure. It seems I accidentally edged him, as his entire body tensed up. He pushed his legs together to cover his groin, and I get my answer. I no longer think I'm misreading things. This wolf seems to be into me, but I don't know what to do about it. I think I'll wait for him to emerge from his shell on his own terms. I don't want to push it and cause him to shut down again. He clears his throat and looks at me with a guilty expression. I'm glad you enjoy it. I really do. We manage to have only one more spoonful when knocking on the door comes. Ugh, I was assured we'd be left alone. He grumbles in annoyance, getting up and opening the door. It's Verissa. The white female rushes past Ranok and looks directly at me. Okay, wow. Huh. Right. Your father just informed us that the human will be at the feast tomorrow. Immediately, Ranok's expression sours, contrary to mine, which brightens up. I'll be able to leave the house tomorrow. I'll finally meet the tribe. Thanks for ruining my surprise. It was your idea, then? She gives him a baffled look. I asked him to consider it. Orien was getting incredibly lonely here.
So your solution was to throw him to the wolves?
Literally. I chuckle.
It's not funny. Not every wolf hangs himself on a technicality. Ranok might have made you his ward, but that's no guarantee of your safety.
No one would dare touch him.
Not if we maintain our pretense, but that's going to be much harder with him out and about. Tano is on his case since the meeting. He's practically obsessed with the human.
We can handle Tano.
And you're willing to bet Orien's life on it?
She asks, and Ranok's ears fold back. He's clearly troubled, and that makes me uncomfortable, but I can't stay here forever. I really need to get out of the house. I'm losing my mind in here.
You can lose your head if anyone finds out you can understand us.
I fall silent, knowing that I don't have much arguments to counter her. That doesn't change the fact that I cannot simply be imprisoned in here much longer, and my sorrowful expression makes it perfectly clear to Ranok. We have to trust Orien.
What?
I'm surprised as she is. We don't know when his memories will return. It might take a week or a month. He's not my prisoner. He's my charge. Keeping him locked up isn't right. It only fuels paranoia. The only way to calm things down and allow him to some semblance of freedom is to introduce him to the tribe. The sooner, the better. The female looks at me with concern and then sighs in annoyance, while I'm just incredibly touched that Ranok took our earlier conversation to heart.
I hate it when you're right. But this is yet another gamble on top of the series of bets we just made.
I'm sure Orien can handle Tano. He's a smart beastie. Besides, as my ward, he will have me at his side at all times.
Fine, but don't come crying when this will spectacularly blow up in your muzzle.
That's an easy condition. I'm rarely wrong about people. He shrugs, giving me a sly wink. I blush, overwhelmed by the confidence he has in me, but I'm not sure it's completely warranted. I'm slightly concerned about his Tano character. He seems to be putting pretty much all of them on edge, and I'm not certain what to make of it. Before I get to ask, I can see Verissa approach me.
Anyway, I came to check your bandages.
Oh, okay. I stand up, allowing her better access to my underbelly.
Why are they all wet and green?
She takes an idle sniff of my dressing.
Is that grass?
We went for a walk in the rain.
A walk?
She looks to the gray wolf with a slightly risen brow.
Then why is he all covered in your scent?
I stumbled and fell, and Ranok. I tried to help him up. Verissa sighs at our pathetic explanation.
You are seriously injured, she growls at me. I'm not talking figuratively either. That stab, as well executed as it was, is still serious. You cannot be seen out and about, rolling in the grass with a wolf thrice your size. I mean, seriously, Ranok, he's just a dumb kid, but you should know better.
The female scolds us in a rather harsh tone.
It was just a bit of fun. What if someone saw you?
There was no one around. It was pissing rain.
Ugh! Now I need to change those again. On the upside, you might have opened the wound. A little bleeding would help to sell this as something serious and teach you a lesson you desperately need. She pulls out new dressing from her pouch, placing it on the table along with the pinkish tincture. She kneels down and unwraps my bandages, slowly revealing the spot where Vul has stabbed me. This is odd, she mutters in surprise, inspecting the wound. It's already closed. That's good, right? The wolf shrugs, taking an idle drink of ale. It's clear that my stabbing is still making him rather uncomfortable. When was the last time you saw a cut this deep closed within 2 days? She asks him, but the male is not even looking in our direction. There's no oozing, nothing. I look down, and indeed, all I can see is just a reddish line in my side. It's already scarring. I guess Vul really knew what he was doing, I proposed through a smile. No, you're healing too fast. It's almost unnatural. She pretty much confirms my suspicions. I knew there was something odd about how well I felt immediately after my fever. Despite this being a positive development, I get a nagging feeling there's something sinister behind it. What are you suggesting? Ranok sighs in annoyance, clearly uncomfortable with our conversation. I'm not suggesting anything, but it seems there's more to this human than meets the eye.
She douses my wound with the pinkish solution, which stings a little, but at this point I'm used to it. Once she cleaned the spot, she started dressing it up again with bandages. When she's done, she stands up, taking hold of my shoulders and looking directly into my eyes.
You were gravely wounded. You must act it. No one can suspect you're fine. Especially now that we can barely even call it an injury. And no one can know you speak our language.
She reiterates, and I nod. I had the intention to spice up my wound from the very beginning. She nods back at me knowingly and proceeds to leave.
Wait! Would you care to have some rabbit stew with us? There's plenty to spare.
The female looks back at me with a soft smile and gazes at Ranok. Nope. Don't know. 1 second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back now. Let me pick up where we left off. Alright. As I had someone calling me about a food order. Getting some delicious Chipotle. Anyway, alright.
At least someone around here has manners.
What would be the point in asking? I knew he would refuse anyway.
It's a thought that matters.
She looks back at me with an apologetic gaze, opening the door.
I can't stay. I have evening patrol duties, and my pack was left leaderless for the past few days on your account.
I look confused to Ranok. She's also an alpha, just like me.
Really? There are alpha females?
Female alphas? She looks at me with surprise and chuckles, accompanied by Ranok's thundering laughter.
What sexist backwater do you come from?
America!
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Before I manage to respond, she leaves. Hope she didn't take it the wrong way. Don't worry. So far, you seem to be more amusing than annoying to her, which is a good sign. Speaks much about you.
How so?
Neither she nor Vul warm up to people easily. I knew there was something special about you. I try to conceal my blush and we return to our meal. We spend the evening just chatting away, with Ranok indulging heavily in ale and talking of sparring and wrestling. He seems to really enjoy contact sports, which allow him to utilize his burly build. I don't mind his little boasts. They're clearly meant as flattery directed at me, but I just can't help myself to cool him down a bit. I bet Vul gave you a run for your money on more than one occasion. He almost chokes on his beer and throws me an angry stare. I've bested Vul many times. He reiterates, and I just stifle a chuckle. Which only means that at least a few times he bested you. If you're such a wise guy, how about you and me have a spar to see who ends up on top? The wolf raises his brows challengingly, and I can see his tail flicker in excitement. I see what you're doing. It's a cute trap, but I'm not falling for it just yet. You really think that taking down a tiny piglet like me is going to compensate for Vul handing your ass to you? Oh, you. He slams his paw onto the table and stands up slowly, his form tense in a playful manner as if he were about to pounce me.
Nuh-uh!
I shake my hands, laughing.
I'm gravely wounded, remember?
I point to my side, winking at the wolf. Ranok issues a subdued, seductive growl, which sends tingling shivers down my spine. Lucky little piggy. He sits down with a mocking expression, taking a long swig at his tankard. I must admit, getting to know him better and being able to tease him back is extremely satisfying. I feel that we began truly bonding, and whatever this is between us, I'm just glad we have him here, even if we're just friends. We return to idle banter, teasing each other from time to time, way into the night. You two are so damn adorable. I haven't had so much fun in a long while. The wolf exhales, emptying his third mug of ale, and I just laugh awkwardly.
All we really did was eat dinner and drink.
What can I say? You're good company. He shrugs, approaching the barrels and refilling his tankard. I tried to keep his tempo, but so far only managed one pint, struggling with my second. Besides, if I wanted excitement, I'd be out with my pack. Speaking of, I have to head out early tomorrow, he states, sitting down and I look up slightly concerned.
Oh?
My father arranged for a little competition. Ranok winks playfully. We're tasked with a hunt. There's a black boar that has been wreaking havoc in our forest. It's to be a centerpiece of tomorrow's feast. The pack that gets the kill will have a whole week off duty.
I won't lie, that would be nice.
I nod, wetting my lips, the bitter bruise starting to grow on me. I know, right? A whole week with me. I bet you'll get sick of this muzzle within 2 days. I highly doubt that. I shake my head through a chuckle, while the wolf tucks on a more serious tone. Either way, let's not sell the hide until we snag the beast. I think Tano is cheating. How so? We were meant to leave the boar to gorge himself undisturbed, but Tano and his pack were doing a lot of tracking lately. He stifles a growl. I think he keeps tabs on the beast. That's quite underhanded. But no matter what will happen, I will cheer for the best wolf. I nod towards him encouragingly. And who's the best wolf, pray tell? Why, you, of course. My wolf is the best wolf. I mustered a slightly seductive smile, which causes the wolf to laugh it off nervously. Alright, guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop it right here. That has been another episode of Far Beyond the World. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to the next video. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!